Good fame is like fire. When you have kindled, you may easily preserve it, but if you extinguish it, you will not easily kindle it again. Life, an age to the miserable, and a moment to the happy. When a man laughs at his troubles, he loses a great many friends. They never forgive the loss of their prerogative. Pictures and shapes are but secondary objects, and please or displease only in the memory. The great end of life is not knowledge, but action. Riches are a good handmaiden, but a poor mistress. Judges must beware of hard constructions and strained inferences, for there is no worse torture than that of laws. We are much beholden to Machiavel and others, that write what men do, and not what they ought to do. It is as hard and severe a thing to be a true politician as to be truly moral. Therefore, if a man look sharply and attentively, he shall see fortune, for though she be blind, yet she is not invisible. The root of all superstition is that men observe when a thing hits, but not when it misses. Truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. The monuments of wit survive the monuments of power. They are ill discoverers that think there is no land when they can see nothing but sea. Write down the thoughts of the moment. Those that come unsought for are commonly the serpent. If it wants to become the dragon, must eat itself. The serpent, if it wants to become the dragon, must eat itself. Great boldness is seldom without some absurdity. The worst solitude is to be destitute of true friendship. Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. Nature cannot be commanded except by being obeyed. For a crowd is not company, and faces are but a gallery of pictures, and talk but a tinkling cymbal where there is no love. It is impossible to love and be wise. Read not to contradict and confute, nor to believe and take for granted ... but to weigh and consider. In taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior. There are two ways of spreading light ... to be the candle, or the mirror that reflects it. If we are to achieve things never before accomplished, we must employ methods never before attempted. The general root of superstition, namely, that men observe when things hit, and not when they miss, and commit to memory the one, and forget and pass over the other. The less people speak of their greatness, the more we think of it. Philosophy, when superficially studied, excites doubt. When thoroughly explored, it dispels it. There is no comparison between that which is lost by not succeeding and that which is lost by not trying. The pencil of the Holy Ghost hath labored more in describing the afflictions of Job than the felicities of Solomon. They that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils. The quarrels and divisions about religion were evils unknown to the heathen. The reason was because the religion of the heathen consisted rather in rites and ceremonies than in any constant belief. The joys of parents are secret, and so are their griefs and fears. The momentous thing in human life is the art of winning the soul to good or evil. Next to religion, let your care be to promote justice. There is as much difference between the counsel that a friend giveth, and that a man giveth himself, as there is between the counsel of a friend and of a flatterer. For there is no such flatterer as is a man's self. Knowledge and human power are synonymous. There is a wisdom in this beyond the rules of physic. A man's own observation what he finds good of, and what he finds heard of, is the best physic to preserve health. Travel, in the younger sort, is a part of education, in the elder, a part of experience. The way of fortune is like the Milky Way in the sky, which is a number of small stars, not seen asunder, but giving light together. So it is a number of little and scarce discerned virtues, or rather faculties and customs, that make men fortunate. The worst solitude is to have no real friendships. I had rather believe all the fables in the legend, and the Talmud, and the Alcoran, than that this universal frame is without a mind. It is in life as it is in ways. The shortest way is commonly the foulest, and surely the fairer way is not much about. Of all virtues and dignities of the mind, goodness is the greatest, being the character of the deity. And without it, man is a busy, mischievous, wretched thing. I do not believe that any man fears to be dead, but only the stroke of death. Read not to contradict and confute, nor to believe and take for granted, but to weigh and consider. By indignities men come to dignities. Many a man's strength is in opposition, and when he faileth, he grows out of use. He that hath knowledge spareth his words. Virtue is like a rich stone, best plain set. People have discovered that they can fool the devil, but they can't fool the neighbors. Truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand, and melting like a snowflake. Man prefers to believe what he prefers to be true. Age appears best in 4 things: old wood to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. Money is a great servant, but a bad master. Wonder is the seed of knowledge. It is a sad fate for a man to die too well known to everybody else, and still unknown to himself. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present. Reading maketh a full man, and writing an exact man. And, therefore, if a man write little, he need have a present wit. And if he read little, he need have much cunning to seem to know which he doth not. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. Studies serve for delight, for ornaments, and for ability. Discretion of speech is more than eloquence, and to speak agreeably to him with whom we deal is more than to speak in good words, or in good order. Whoever is out of patience is out of possession of their soul. He that gives good advice builds with one hand. He that gives good counsel and example builds with both. But he that gives good admonition and bad example builds with one hand and pulls down with the other. The root of all superstition is that men observe when a thing hits, but not when it misses. God's first creature, which was light. Truth is a good dog, but always beware of barking too close to the heels of an error, lest you get your brains kicked out. Studies perfect nature, and are perfected still by experience. No body can be healthful without exercise, neither natural body nor politic, and certainly to a kingdom or a state, a just and honorable war is the true exercise. As the births of living creatures are at first ill-shapen, so are all innovations, which are the births of time. Some books should be tasted, some devoured, but only a few should be chewed and digested thoroughly. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts. But if he will be content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. There is no exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the proportion. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is.